Hello and thank you for watching. I'm Ashley Van Dyke with Advantage Software, and on today's video, Eclipse 12 audio playback, I'm going to show you some of the changes that have happened to the audio playback interface, and we'll begin talking about some of the new commands that are available as well. Within Eclipse, you now have the opportunity to play audio back in 3 different ways. First, you have your traditional playback method. This is tied to Tools, Multimedia, and Play, and this works the same way that playback has always worked. Put your cursor on a word and hit play, and you'll hear the audio associated with that time code. These are the functions that we'll be covering in today's video. However, additional functions that have been added in Eclipse 12 are Alt Playback, which is tied to Tools, Multimedia, Alt Play, and plays audio to a second device, as well as Live Monitoring. You can find this under Tools, Multimedia Monitor. And this allows you to monitor the audio input live and apply various augmentations to it through Eclipse's system. In this video, however, we're going to talk about the most traditional playback mechanism, and that is simply play. Let's take a look at how this option has changed in Eclipse 12. I'm inside of Eclipse, and in order to configure my default playback device that works with Tools, Multimedia, Play, I'm going to need to open the audio control panel. Now I can also do that from the Tools Multimedia menu. We see that control panel is listed here, and the default keystroke is usually Control-Shift-A. However, there are a lot of new tools available within the control panel in Eclipse 12, and I highly recommend that you consider adding it to your toolbar. I'm going to add it to my toolbar now. I'm going to right-click on my toolbar. I'm going to choose to put it towards the end of my toolbar, and I'm going to find that toolbar item within the menu labels. And so since that's in Tools, Multimedia, then I can find the control panel within the Tools, Multimedia, expandable folder structure here. So I'm going to add that to my toolbar, and now I have quick and easy access to all of my Eclipse playback options. So I'm going to click on Audio Control Panel, or I'll go to Tools, Multimedia, Audio Control Panel. And the first thing that I want to bring to your attention are the same 3 options that I talked about before. There are default playback options, default alt playback options, and default monitoring options. All of these perform slightly different actions. On this video, we're going to focus on playback options. And this is going to be the default playback device when you use the regular play command that has always existed within Eclipse. The first thing that I want to bring your attention to is in the top right for output devices. I'll click on output devices, and this is where you can configure your default playback device or devices. And so right now I have my speaker's Logitech headset set up as my default device. If I want to, I can remove this, and Eclipse will simply default to whatever Windows says is my default playback device. Or I can add a playback device, and again, I'll add my Logitech headset. However, I also have the option of adding a second device. If I have a set of speakers that I also want the audio to come from, when I hit play, then I could do that. Now, in most applications, you probably don't want to actually do that. However, you can. So I'm going to delete my speakers, and I'm going to leave only my Logitech headset. And that's the only thing that I have to do. I either add, change, or delete whatever existing device or devices are here, and make sure that it meets my current needs, or the needs of this particular Eclipse user. Now that I have my headset selected, I'll press OK, and let's take a look at some of the other options in this window. In the top left, there's a file selection option. This is how you can select which channel is going to be played back by default when you use your default play option. You can choose from any of the files that are available in your current file. These options might change based on which file you have open and how many and what sort of audio files it has associated with it. For most applications, you can leave this set to main, and it will just play your default audio channel. This is the same setting that was previously set to either 0 or main. Now, on the left-hand side, there are the play, clean play, and stop options that have always existed in the audio control panel window. These options allow you to test any changes that you've made to your devices or the settings that they're using. For instance, I can increase my speed and then hit play.
I typically like to get a background on someone, where they're from,
And use stop to stop that sampling. Then I can use clean play.
I typically like to get a background on someone.
And then play.
I typically like to get a background on someone.
To compare what it sounds like playing naturally with clean play and to play with all of the adjustments that I've made to it, whether that's speed or threshold. Next, let's take a look at the level setting. In a previous video about audio recording, I showed you that you can now adjust the input level of some devices right in the waveform display in the bottom left of Eclipse. However, you can also now do the same thing with most simple playback devices. I'll set my speed back to 100. And if I press play,
I typically like to get a background on someone, where they're from,
that audio is quite loud, and I can reduce the input volume.
I typically like to get a background on someone, where they're from,
to make that audio sound exactly how I'd like it. And of course, Eclipse still offers volume threshold. This is a setting that will skip over quiet parts of your audio. You want to adjust this just 1 or 2 points at a time to make sure that you don't skip over any important audio. This will skip over things like long breaths, long pauses, or people shuffling paper. On the bottom left is the timecodes option. This is where you can adjust your timecode offset if it's ever necessary, or adjust the display of your timecodes in your document. Additionally, there's an import button that allows you to import additional audio into your document. We'll cover this feature more extensively in the future. This is also where, if you have text highlighted, you can manage the redaction of audio. There's also still the Windows Setup button that takes you directly to the Windows Sound Mixer, allowing you to adjust the volume of all of the programs that you currently have open. Lastly, we have Play on Exit and Move Cursor. If you have Play on Exit checked, as soon as you press OK, it's going to begin playing audio from wherever you left your cursor. If you have Move Cursor checked, whenever you play your audio, your cursor will follow along with it. All of these playback options are available in the default playback section. At the top, I have playback options selected, and again, these are the default playback commands and options associated with Tools Multimedia Play, or Alt-J or Shift Bracket if you're a hyperkey user. Remember that if needed, you can add multiple playback devices. If you want your audio to go into your headset, but also pipe out over the courthouse's speakers, you can do that all at the same time by adding both devices here. We'll cover alternate playback options and monitoring options in future videos. But if you've recently updated to version 12, don't worry, all of the same tools that you've always relied on for audio playback are still here. You simply have even more options to make sure that you're getting exactly the performance that works for you and makes your job the easiest. Don't forget that Advantage Software offers anytime support. Our tech support staff is available for any question, anytime, including weekends and holidays at 772-288-3266. Email support is also available at support@eclipsecat.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so that you'll be notified when we publish new content in the future. Thank you so much, and have a great day.